Hey everybody, this is Brandon with Step Rock Media. Welcome back to Finding My Voice. In this episode, I want to talk about Fiverr. Fiverr for voice actors. Is it a good thing, bad thing? What do I think of it? And should you be using it? In a word, no. In a longer word, yeah, maybe. So let's jump into it and talk about it. So first and foremost, I want to set the table here and say, if somebody works for $5 for anything, they are not your competition. If somebody wants to pay you $5 for work, they're not your client. After all the time that I've spent doing all the work that I've done in graphics and things, I have discovered that the people who pay the least are the worst clients you could ever possibly ask for. But when you go into a client relationship, a working relationship, a professional relationship with somebody, when they're paying you a decent rate, they already start out with the expectation that they're getting something good. And they expect you to deliver something good. They're already positive and engaged with it. Somebody who's trying to lowball you is used to being cheated, and they are going to try to cheat you. They're going to hassle you and give you the worst time. So personally, don't ever work for really, really low peanuts, okay? Don't do that. On the other hand, if you're just starting out, I don't think you can charge like industry standard rates. During graphic design, I've been doing it for so long and I'm so fast at it now that I charge a much higher rate than I would have at first. And I have every reason to command a higher rate because I'm good at it. Okay. But since I'm still kind of new in the voice world, even though I do have some experience, I don't feel like I can charge the same rates that I would for graphic design because I haven't improved myself as much. But I'm sure as heck not going to charge $5. So does Fiverr devalue the voiceover industry? Absolutely. But then again, Fiverr devalues every industry it touches, not because you necessarily are doing work for $5, and I'm going to explain that in a second, but because their whole reason of existence is to set up the expectation that, yeah, things will be done for $5. You don't have to work for $5 on Fiverr. All right. That's one thing that people probably don't know, and I can guarantee you the clients don't know that either. But just because somebody gets on there and says, hey, I want this project for $5 doesn't mean you have to do it. Somebody can tell you, hey, I want you to read War and Peace for $10. It doesn't mean you have to do it. All right. There's going to be a lot of people on there who will ask for work. There's two different ways you can do the work on Fiverr. Okay. You're going to set your own rates on there, so it doesn't have to be $5. You can set up your gig. That's the first thing you have to do is to say, I will do so many words for this dollar amount, and then, X. So spitballing here, if you said I'll do 500 words for $50, and again, that's not a rate I'm trying to quote you, I'm just using it because it's an easy number to say. And then I'll charge $10 for every extra 100 words. I'll have a turnaround time of 48 hours, and I'll charge you $75 for, extra fast delivery. And there's upcharges and things, commercial releases for broadcast and that kind of thing. So no, you do not have to set rates at anything for $5. On the other hand, you could say, what will I do for $5? If the answer is anything at all, your answer might be nothing. Or you might say, hey, I'll read 10 words for $5. Mary had a little lamb. I don't know. But, nobody's gonna want just 10 words. They're going to want more. So, yeah, I don't like the bait and switch kind of a thing. But if you're honest about it and say, I will read you 5 words for $5, I don't know. It's your offer. That's not the way I set things up. And I do have an account there. I have an account because a voice coach had said you should have one. And I'm saying, look, if you're asking for advice and somebody gives you advice who's a professional, you should do what they said. So that's why I set it up. I've booked a couple of projects on it, and I don't think it's that valuable of projects. It's just getting my feet wet, to tell you the truth. There's kind of a hunting and a gathering sort of a mentality about it. You have your gig that's out there that's going to be your offer when somebody's asking for a project. So anybody could find your profile and see a gig that you've offered, X number of words for X amount of dollars in so much time, that kind of thing. So that's just your gathering kind of a thing, or your farm just sitting there. Hunting would be people post requests and you can go and submit an offer on it, a bid. So yeah, people will all the time go in there with lowballing, devalued stuff that you should never actually respond to. And you'll see, look, they got a dozen offers on it. All right. You can't see the offer though. You don't know that somebody said, sure, I'll do that for $1. And again, if they did, they're not your competition anyway, so who cares? You're going to get what you pay for as a client. If you think that you can get somebody to professionally record your commercial for $5 and that's all you're going to pay them, you're going to get what you get. And if you're a voice actor and you do that kind of work on the cheap, then I think you're going to wind up regretting it. Anytime during my long career of doing graphic design, I've been at it for over 20 something years, 20 years or more, I knew when the check felt light in my hand, I'm not charging enough. Okay. At first, I was just glad to get the work, but as time went on, I knew, okay, I got to start charging more. And yeah, it's true. You wind up getting better clients. There is a cap there. You can't go crazy. You can't be, charging people too much. And I like to work out a fair deal, which means a fair rate for good work. Nobody's cheating anybody else here. You're getting what you paid for, and I'm delivering top quality work. All right. So some of the issues that I'm running into on Fiverr, and the reason I've kind of gotten more soured on it, I figured, look, you might have to wade through a bunch of weird projects and people asking for anything for $5, and I can say, no, I'm not going to do it. Well, don't offer, okay? I don't have to offer. Nobody's making me offer. But if I do have out my gig to say, this is what I will do for a certain dollar amount, I don't have a right of refusal. If somebody books me, whether I'm paying attention or not, whether I'm checking my email constantly or not, if I get booked, I have to do the project. There is no right of refusal. I can't say, oh, I'm busy right now, or I just don't want to do that project. This is a gig kind of a thing, and you're kind of being pimped out by Fiverr, if you get my meaning. And I don't like that relationship anyway. That's not a good feeling to be like, I will literally say anything you want me to, and I can write it into my caveats or whatever in my gig that I don't want to do X, Y, or Z. But still, it's just sitting there, and it's kind of the expectation of if you have your gig active, then you are ready, willing, and able to work and take the projects that come to you. So anyway, I would set up an account on Fiverr still, just because I don't think it would kill you to do it, and because I think if you're starting out, you want to go and see what's available. Most of what I'm seeing on Fiverr is a lot of foreign language stuff. And there's a lot of requests that are under voice acting or voiceover that just come up as a translation or an impression or stuff that it's not my thing, or foreign language. And a lot of times in a foreign language, people might be willing to work for a lower rate because currency valuations and different economies in different countries. So I don't see as many English language stuff coming out at a decent rate, and people are going to lowball you to death. But again, you might find a good one. And I book a couple small gigs on there and made just a small amount of money just getting my feet wet. Okay, this is a matter of cut your teeth. This is a matter of get some good reviews. This is a matter of get some experience. And it is worth doing the exercise to make sure that you're setting your rates, because when you set up a gig, you have to go through and set up your rates. And I think it's important for you to really think it through and to work on that. It wouldn't kill you to have an account on lots of different websites, and some are better than others. Some are real scams. Do your research, okay? This is part of your research, watching this video right now. So I think that Fiverr forcing you to set your rates is worthwhile. Getting your foot in the door and at least being able to look and see what's available is worthwhile. Getting on there and listening to some other voice actors who, a lot of them are really good. Okay, and I can guarantee you they aren't working for $5 either. So don't think that just because Fiverr exists, you have to do work for $5. But yeah, let's be honest. I really do think that they do devalue not just voiceover, but every industry that they come into contact with, just by the nature of a client thinking I can get literally anything for $5, whether they can or cannot, or whether they're going to want what they got at the end of the day if they did. But again, my big takeaway here: if somebody works for $5, don't worry about them, because they're not your competition anyway. If somebody wants to pay $5 for your work, they aren't your client, okay? So take yourself seriously, do your work. Don't try to charge out the wazoo when you're just starting out, because you're frankly not worth it yet. I'm not worth top dollar, okay? I'm worth entry-level rates, but I'm not worth a measly $5 for doing anything either. So I hope this helped you. Give me a thumbs up, comment, tell me your thoughts below out there, and I hope you guys have a really great day. Be awesome.